Alrighty guys, would I buy this property? So in this video, I'm gonna evaluate a property randomly selected as a buyer's agent and give you guys the tips and tricks that I've learned over the many years that I've worked in the industry. So it's about 10 years plus. But let's hit the wheel and see which suburb we get. Narre Warren South. Would you believe it? I grew up in Narre Warren North. So let's just have a look at good old Nazawazza South. Typically houses down here, not many apartments, even not that many units, maybe a couple of townhouses and smaller units in some sections. But just in general, it is more of a house type of area. So let's just have I'll go, that one's under offer. So let's just go this one. Anyway, yeah, again, would I buy this property? So I'm looking at it from the view as a buyer's agent, and would I buy this property for my clients? If I'm working with them, would I potentially buy this property? Look, my initial thoughts when I'm looking at these properties, everything's going off. Like all the sensors are flying because I'm looking at even the track lighting. I'm looking at the daggy curtains. I'm looking at the floorboards. The floorboards actually don't match the error. Like I would say that these have been put in maybe afterwards. I'm looking at what's going on here. Is that tiles or is it lino? Is it slate? I don't think it's old enough to be slate, but that's just where I'm going. Oh, it's not far off. It looks. Oh no, it's slate. It's slate. So yeah, laminate bench tops. These you can see from the camera angle here that it's pretty wide. Like the way that all of this is stretched. So I do a lot of due diligence before I go and look at properties. So this kind of stuff I'm looking at because I just want to be more aware when I get to the property. So we can have a quick look in a minute at the floor plan, but even the way that this image here is stretched, it's so obvious that they've used a really wide angled lens to make the room look bigger. Not always, yeah, when people present properties that way, I start to think, hey, what else are they embellishing? So yeah, flicking through, it's okay. It's probably needing a little bit of love. I reckon my thought is that they've slapped this timber floor over the slate and there'll be a little ridge there. So, you know, when you go and inspect the property, you're probably going to have some uneven types of flooring. But again, let's just have a look at it and I'll probably try not to rip it apart too much. So these map views are really good. I like going to Google myself. So I would prefer to go to Google and then I'll just punch in the address like that and then go on here. Because there's some really cool tools or like features, I guess, on Google Maps that you can do and you can get a really good overview of what's happening. So again, what I said before, there's a lot of houses, not too many units, and there's definitely no apartment blocks anywhere nearby. And then you get the lower type of density housing, which is really common for Narre Warren South, especially throughout this pocket here. So I know this estate really well, off Greaves Road. There's a little milk bar and a fish and chip shop here, and I think there's a swimming centre. Yeah, there's an early learning centre, and there might be King Swim. That's the swimming centre, and yeah, there's a reserve. I think there's some decent parks through here. Like this one's on a park, so that's pretty cool. Again, depending on what the client's brief is, so let's just assume they've got a young family and they're wanting to move into a larger house, and that larger house is going to be something that they can renovate. So, you know, they want to add some of their own touches to it. So when I'm looking at this, I go, where the hell is the backyard? Like, how the friggin' hell did they get permits to build this thing? Because there's no backyard to it. Like this little courtyard, this wouldn't even meet res code these days, like residential code. I don't even know. Yeah, maybe it's a meter. Yeah, it's probably a meter. But yeah, this is one of the cool features that you can do on Google Maps is you can right click and you can hit measure distance. So you can see like how wide the house is. It's 14 meters. You can also like, this is very close to the park, but let's just say there was a train, you wanted to see how far away a train station was, or even this early learning center. You can obviously do the directions like you would on when you're trying to drive somewhere. You can obviously just punch in the directions there, but for a quick little overview, I'll go, oh yeah, it's 4-ish 100 meters away. You can just see as the crow flies how far away things are. And the other thing that I was doing before is when you can go like this. So it's pretty flat all through here. There's nothing really that causes alarm bells just being in this little particular spot. It's a quiet little area. There's no large shopping centers that are going to cause traffic. And this being this Bogona Way, no one else is driving down here unless you live there. All right, you might get a couple of cars coming through here to Alma Avenue, but it's going to be rare, right? Like these are the main ones here. The avenue here that's going there, and then probably Orchard Street. They're the main ones, right? No one's turning in here and then going through here and then going through here, like to get to here. They're gonna go down that road. Like that's the main one that they're gonna go through to get up into there. So yeah, the only through traffic that you might get is people that live in this section here. But yeah, in terms of overall, again, if it was that brief, young family looking for an opportunity that they can renovate, definitely it fits that brief, like in terms of something that you could go and renovate. But these, look, it just doesn't have a backyard for me. So that would be a hard no, purely based on that fact. It's just, yeah, they will struggle selling this property because, and look, I don't know in terms of the pricing if that's going to be relevant, but we can have a quick look at that now too. So I would be pulling up this property here, and this is where the agents might work in reverse to where they normally would, where they're underquoting. I reckon they're pulling in some properties that are going to push this make this property seem cheap, right? So there's a 3-4 bedroom house, much better quality, that is sold for $950,000, which they put in the statement of information here to help bring the pricing up on this particular property. So yeah, if we have a look at this 16 Adderley, which has been sold. So I like to do a side-by-side, so we can just go bang on that side-by-side comparison. If I go back to the floor plan, if this has a floor plan, which I'm not sure it did, because I know it does have a floor plan. So yeah, if we have a look at this subjectively, master bedroom, double garage, but again, it's still the facade or the street presence isn't as nice as say this one, right? If we went back to this one, that's quite a standard facade, where this one, it's a little bit of a, it's just not as normal as what you would normally see. So if we go back to this facade photo, you can see the entrance is here, and then this is down the side of the house, essentially. All this pathway is running down the side of the house, where this would maybe be a fence normally, and then that garage is probably going to be around the other side, like it'd be hinged around the other side. So again, street presence, it's not really ticking a lot of the boxes for me. And yeah, again, why they would probably use a property like this to say, hey, that one around the corner sold for $950. It's similar, so it is similar era, it's similar fit out, but to me, that this property is 10 times better than the other one. It's very similar, don't get me wrong, it's very similar internally. It's got this massive outdoor area, which is pretty cool. I know a lot of people, especially in this particular area, would entertain. This house looks very familiar to me, actually, but yeah, it's close to a shopping center. So yeah, I don't think being this close is going to impact it too much. Some people like it. I'm a convenience type person, so I wouldn't mind living that close to a shopping center. Like I'd actually see that being a bonus, but some people might not. So yeah, all this farmland, they reckon, last time I checked on this particular block of land, they were not selling in like the next 15 to 20 years. So yeah, that's going to be there for quite some time. But yeah, the proximity to that shopping center could be an issue for some people. Some people could absolutely love it. But yeah, I don't think it's as polarizing as, say, power lines or a main road. This is probably more in the like 20% basket of people would have a real concern with it. So yeah, going back to just the comparables. So if we pull this one into Google Maps, so if we go back to the court and we just pull up the Google map and we want to have a look at it from this perspective as well, it's got a much better backyard. So as I said before, like the agents are probably putting these properties in, I reckon will be a very similar scenario on this one too. Like it'll be a better property, and the agents are trying to drag the price up of the one that they're selling, which is not as common as what you would see these days with underquoting, right? So this property is awesome. Like I would say that this property is much better than the one that they're trying to sell. So yeah, if they're using this as a comparable to say, yeah, go and check, have a look at that one. This sold for 950. Again, it's a ranch style, like it's a long style home, but 1,000 times better. Like I'm sure you guys can agree with me. This is a much better home. It is similar though, like where it's got this odd entrance and the garage is down the side. So I would say well done to them in terms of picking something that's similar on a corner. So yeah, that is like a very comparable property, but the house itself is miles better, right? Like the internals are just miles better. If we're looking at this one from a location perspective, all through there in Narre South, like there's not too much of a variance between location. So if you're on this side of the street versus that side of the street, this is quite a distance away though from this. The other one was Casey Central. So that one was in this pocket here. It was just, I think it was one of these houses just there. And then the first one that we're looking at is over Clyde Road, actually. Oh no, it wasn't over Clyde Road. It was in this little, if this is Greaves Road. Yeah, so it was in here. Yeah, not very far away. Like again, I would say that this is pretty comparable. It's within a kilometer or so. However, it's close to Berwick Springs. So like this Berwick Springs estate here, I would say that, yeah, this is getting into a better pocket. So my gut would be saying that this particular property, they're wanting 889 to 965. I don't think this one's going to sell above the range. I think this would sell closer to the 900 mark. But someone, depending on when these ones sold, so yeah, that one sold not too long ago, like less than a month ago, so probably circa 3 weeks. I would say that selling for 950, it being on a corner block, it being double story, a little bit, some of the aspects of this home are polarizing. So a lot of people don't like living in an attic, for instance. Like you don't have full headspace here. So yeah, that is another reason why this is a closer comparable, but it does have the attic. So this one's got all the downstairs living. So it's probably same living downstairs, but it's got the attic. That's a plus to me. So that selling for 950, I couldn't say that this thing is going to be worth 965. Like I would say that this thing's probably closer to 900, and even the internals. So yeah, it's probably closer to that, like 890. But the market is moving at the moment. So you don't know what people are out there and what FOMO is kicking about, because that can really cause people to, yeah, make decisions and move on properties that not really the best. It's similar size square meters as well. So 672 versus 685. So again, they're pretty on the money, like with a comparable. I'd say that these agents are. But yeah, it's, for me, just going back to that brief, young family wanting to do renovations, and they ideally would want some form of backyard if you've got kids. I know I've got the park across the road, but if you've got young kids, you don't really want them playing across the road. You'd rather them in your own backyard. So for me, if that was the brief, I would be passing on this particular property. But see you on the next one. Bye.